Hey, friends, what's up? Welcome to Hundreded, uh, a show where I try to figure out the true meaning of the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. And I'm going to be calling up Larry Lonsby Jr. today uh, to talk to him about his hundreds. Let's see if we can get him on the line here. Um, let's see. I guess I should check and make sure that we're live and everything. Oh, snap. All right.
Hey, hear me?
Yeah, I got you. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's freaking hot tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How warm is it there, man?
What's that?
How warm is it there?
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't checked the temperature. It gets really humid in Michigan. It sucks.
Jeez. It sounds like you usually should have like some fans blowing or something. You probably turn them off?
Yeah, I got some fans going on right now. So.
Oh, that's good. I don't want anybody passing out.
No, I won't pass out. How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. It's good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, cool. Seeing your progress.
Oh, yours too. Yeah. Yours too, like a lot, man. I'm excited. And for anybody that's watching, this is Larry Lonsby Jr.
How you doing?
He's taking the 100-day challenge right this minute. And what day are you on today?
73.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's it been lately? Let's say like the last week. How's it been?
It's been pretty good. I'm getting towards the end of the first story arc, so I don't want to reveal any of the last pages. You know what I mean? Keep people in more suspense when they read the series. So I got to go back and do some inner pages. You know what I mean? Some of the other pieces of the story.
I'm excited. And you're talking about your comic book, The Astral Traveler.
Yeah.
Did you start that comic book when you started the hundreds, or did you start a little bit before?
That was specifically made for the 100-day challenge. Making comics, yeah.
Nice. And so you're right up on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
So the entire concept was made just for that challenge. I wanted to keep it more abstract and more simple, so that I didn't get overwhelmed with the challenge. You know, trying to do detailed stuff like my Tezlon comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, the Astral Traveler actually fits in with your world of Tezlon as well, which you've made at least a bunch of different comic books, right?
Yeah,
I haven't read any of them before, but I've watched all your World of Tezlon videos.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've been at it for a while, dude.
Yeah, I did. In the 90s, I did small press comics. The Xerox type stuff, or taking them to the printers and stuff of that type of like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they call them small press comics anymore. I think they call them indie comics now.
Yeah.
But I started out in the early 90s, like 93. Went to a convention and we're like, hey, we can do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because they had Artist Alley, and it was, when the conventions weren't humongous, you know what I mean? When it was about comic books. So I was with a group and 10 people. We ended up forming a comic company called Dark World Comics, which Rob Johnson was a part of.
That's way awesome, man. I mean, you've worked. So you said that's 10 different artists.
Yeah.
You've worked with a lot of different artists on the world of Tezlon.
Yeah.
And also a composer as well, right? I mean.
Oh yeah, he stumbled across my stuff online, and he was inspired, so he made some music of it.
And it's awesome to hear it in your World of Tezlon videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that's so dope.
I know. I was kind of surprised. You don't ever think of somebody coming back. And I mean, it's not like I have a mainstream comic, but he just caught it online. So he's from over in, I think, Norway.
Oh wow.
So
wow. how did you like? I mean, did you know some of these artists like in your everyday life, or did you meet these artists just like through the internet or?
It was kind of like, well, it's kind of like pre-internet because it was like '94. I mean, it was it was around, but it wasn't around for consumption for like public, pretty much. Uh, Me and a buddy, well, I met one of the artists with the guy that we went to the comic convention, and then from him, I met a couple more artists, and then we started putting like flyers out to try to find more artists in the local area to join up, and that's how we came across Robert Johnston and a few others, and it just kind of like snowballed from that. There's people at school and high school, because we were a little bit older, you know what I mean, like in our low 20s, and we ended up getting like a few people from high school that were into comics and stuff. So we kind of got together and then started working on comic stuff.
That's so awesome. Like to think that you found so many like awesome artists, yourself included, because
Yeah.
not just artists, because I know a lot of artists too, but not all of them are into comic books or anything like that. So it's so
Right.
cool to see like you and a bunch of other artists actually like working on this collective project. It's rad to see like all the sketches that you have through those World of Teslan videos.
Yeah.
Like going through them just the last couple days, I'm like, dang, this is awesome stuff. Did you write most of the World of Teslan comic books and then send that to like your other artist friends, or did they did they take the reins on writing some of it as well, or how did that work out?
What happened was I started writing when I was 13. I started writing it as a young author competition, the first story, and then when I met up with the artist, and then I wanted to do my own comic book. So I started drawing it, even though I wasn't the greatest artist. At the time, we were all learning. It was all rough, and so it went from there. I just started working on my own stuff. In fact, I just pulled out some old pages I'll show you from like the 90s.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
It's like really old. I never used it. But I pulled out a bunch of pages. We're going to clean them up and see if we can do something with them. There's like 30 pages that were never published or anything. So we're thinking about me and Robert Johnson doing something with them. But from that point, it came to a situation where like a lot of the artists just kind of dropped out. It was one of those things where like there wasn't immediate gratification type deal. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, they just went on and did other things. There was only like 2 or 3 of us that continued onwards with it. I took a break and I wanted to world build and write all the Teslan stuff. So I hired 2 or 3 artists to do some actual comic books. And I got like 2 issues in, and then pretty much one of them bailed, like kind of left with, I paid him, and he just kind of like, he was from Indonesia. He just kind of like dropped out of sight. And then the other one got picked up by Marvel to do some stuff. And then there was another one. He moved on too. So I kind of took a break from comics after that. I did, I went to the Comic Cons and tried to sell the books, and that type of stuff.
So that was probably like late 90s sort of thing.
Yeah, like around 2007, 2008.
Oh,
I started doing like, that's when the print in demand came in onto the scene. So we did the color comics and all that jazz, and they looked like comics, and so after that I did, I went to some shows, sold some books, had a sculpture made of my Jack Tate character, and did all kinds of stuff with that. And then it was right about the time that the comic book convention started changing, where celebrities started coming in, and kind of like the indie stuff was kind of like, it was hit or miss. My stuff was fantasy, so it takes a different audience to latch on to type stuff. I wasn't doing superheroes, so.
Yeah. And you mentioned your character Jack Tate, who's awesome. You've hinted that he's going to be appearing in the Astral Traveler.
Yeah.
How does the Astral Traveler like fit into your World of Tezlon, exactly.
Uh, the whole basis of like my stories of the Tezlon, there's portals called slip gates that were opened between all the worlds. There's like 9 worlds in my universe that I call Chronicles of the Nine Worlds. It's loosely based on kind of like Norse mythology type stuff. Well, there's slip gates and these portals that connect to all these worlds, and some of these characters can travel in between the worlds. And you'll see how they get there in the Astral Traveler. Like somebody goes and goes to get them to help.
Oh, cool,
So,
cool. Is that like with your World of Tezlon comic books? It seems like Jack Tate is like maybe one of the main characters, at least
yeah,
for a lot of them.
he's like my Batman or my Spider-Man, my Spawn type deal. He's like the
He's
main
awesome, man.
guy.
He's awesome.
He was created from a song from Ministry called Scarecrow.
I listened to that today, actually.
Right.
I listened to that today.
I created a whole race of them doing that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are like, "Well, is it like the Wizard of Oz Scarecrow?" I'm like, "No, they're much more worse than that."
Yeah. Well, man, that's so awesome to hear that. Like, I mean, it was so long ago. I can't remember like if you started Astral Traveler at the start of this 100.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. Did you have that goal to finish Astral Traveler within this 100 days, or?
I don't think it will be finished. If I want to, but realistically, I really want to revisit it. I want to paint it. I want to digitally have it, like watercolor type painting. I don't want to do just the black and white. You know what I mean? I was like looking at it as the pages were progressing, and I was like, I was going to do everything in gray tones and just call it a day. But the more I looked at it, I was like, I want to do something more with it. So maybe I'll just release it first in the gray tones and see how it goes, and then revisit it with the colors. I'm not sure, but
that's awesome.
But I like the art. Finish it either way.
Yeah, which is awesome. And to think like you're this close to finishing it within your challenge, I think that's gnarly. That's gnarly. I mean, I've spent like 85 days, and barely started my comic book.
Yeah, but you got a lot of concept stuff, a lot of good stuff. Like I'm telling you, your book, like your stuff is something that, like, I see kids picking up and being like, wow, or teenagers, even like adults. Like I've come across books that I'm like, oh wow, this is really cool. It's a different concept than most. And you always like that journey when it's like siblings or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just in another world. Anything that dealing with, another world and young kids and stuff, it's always people like that stuff. So I think it's going to do really good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Definitely latch on to it.
Yeah, and the same with yours. I feel like you're coming from a true place of like experience, and a truly unique story that you're trying to tell in a completely unique world. So it's easy to get like carried away through your work, and that's what I liked about Astral Traveler so much. Is the decision on the art style that you've made, and like just the concepts that you're trying to explore. Can you talk about like kind of your inspirations for the Astral Traveler? Like, do you remember what it was that made you say, "Oh, like this is the story that I'm going to be working on next"?
I don't even know how. Like in the beginning, I just did sketches of Oba, that character, kind of floating in like space. And for a while, I was doing artwork with like those Mayan type heads. I was doing like actual paintings and illustrations of those heads and stuff. So I wanted to incorporate that stuff in the thing. And I knew I wanted to do something with like the elemental forces and meditation and Astral Traveler and all that stuff like that. It just kind of wrote itself and created itself. I'm just kind of like the vehicle for it. It just came about. Like I didn't have the idea before the challenge. When the challenge started, that's everything that churned out, all the concept and everything is like new. Like I didn't even realize Jack Tate was going to show up. He just happened. Like when I was working on the script in Pages, he was there to help. And I was like, so this is somehow linked, you know what I mean, to my other stuff. So I wonder if it's subconsciously in the creative juices just happened. So, but the thing with this challenge is I kind of gave up on comics. Like a couple of years ago, I kind of had a meltdown type deal. And I kind of gave up. Like I was done. I was just going to write my novels of Tezlon and just, whatever. But Rob Johnson's like, hey, why don't you try this 100 Days of Comics challenge? See if it does anything for you. So I did, and I stuck with it. And I just, not only did it make me create a whole new story, but it also revived all my Tezlon stuff. Like we're working on a new website right now. We're going to put up all the comics so you guys can read them right on the website of all the stuff that I have. And then eventually I'm going to do a Kickstarter with like all the current Tezlon stuff that I have, maybe with some new stuff too in there. And I've already had a couple people interested and want to collaborate on doing some stuff too. So, which I never, you know what I mean? Like I gave it up, and then like I feel like this 100 days meeting a couple other guys kind of pulled me back in. You know what I mean? So now I'm like way back into comics. I mean, so.
Man, I'm glad you made that step to get back in.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that like it was the challenge that helped you do that, because you've helped me, like you've helped inspire me on the tough days that I've had. I'm like, oh, well, let's watch one of Larry's videos. What was he up to today? And like, that helps me go like, oh yeah, I need to continue too, because he's right behind me.
Yeah, same thing, because I come home from work and I just want to wind down. And then I come on YouTube, and then I got like 3 or 4 of you guys. I just pull up and I watch, and I'm good. Like I've been really enjoying Tyler Blake's stuff lately. His stuff, and Steve Brute's stuff, and just really checking out other stuff too.
Yeah, Tyler Blake, like he's been telling stories the last couple of his.
I like that stuff.
I like that a lot too, man.
See, you kind of do that too.
And, like why I like comic books.
Your videos are so like, it's like we're buddies. Like I'm at your place and you're talking. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting across from you. That's how I felt like with Tyler Blake. He's just kind of chilling there telling me the story. You know what I mean? So like this 100 days challenge and meeting you guys, like it's kind of cool. You get to see a lot of progress in a lot of other people's lives and how stuff goes.
Yeah, and man, that's what's so encouraging to me is like I've kind of dabbled in comic books before, but never really seriously. It was always like, since I've been a kid, like that was the thing that I was always going to do. I was always with art, like I was always going to make a comic book, but it was just going to happen eventually. I never made plans for it or anything like that. So that's where the 100 days has made a ton of sense for me. And really helped inspire me to say like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm excited to do it. It's, man, I don't know. I'm just excited to hear that, like, even though you stopped making comic books for a while, you got back into it. And was that just an encouragement from your friend? I mean, did your friend say like, "Hey, man"? It's
kind of like all you guys do. I was inspired by like all you guys that I watch, because it's like I'm seeing your guys' progress. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. I want to do some concept stuff. I want to do, I want to get this comic and do this comic, and you know what I mean. It's kind of like just seeing all this creative flow, and I'm kind of like a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm vicariously watching you guys. And vice versa. I'm seeing people that give me, feedback on my stuff too. And, I'm still learning stuff too. I have to relearn a lot of stuff because, back in the day I used to ink with a nib, and I don't do that anymore. So I kind of use like the pen brushes and pens. And I got a tablet. I just haven't gotten on and, started doing it. So.
Oh, yeah. Is that how you think you'll do kind of that watercolor look? Is digitally after you finish? Astral Traveler.
Yeah, I want to. I colored back in the day when like coloring was when it first started coming out, but then it kind of shifted and changed. So I got to go back and relearn some stuff. Because when I got my associate's degree in like commercial art, everything was different back then. Because I'm 47, So back then it was, we didn't have a lot of computer type stuff. But then when I got my bachelor's in graphic design and stuff, illustration like that, all computerized and everything. So there's still some, stuff to relearn and, mess with.
Yeah, it's pretty easy stuff though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm horrible with like technology, right?
Yeah.
But I just get on and start playing around with stuff.
You can wing a lot of it though. You can watch it and say, oh, that's how you use software. That's what I do. I just go on YouTube. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, I think one of the favorite things I like seeing of like the creators, like you guys, is the roughs. I'm a big fan of like sketchbooks and raw stuff. I like seeing how it came about. You know what I mean? So I love collecting like sketchbooks and stuff like that because I think that's like the meat and potatoes of the real art. The finished art is awesome, but I like to see how, I really dig comic books that put sketch stuff in the back, concept stuff. I just like that stuff,
You think you'll include that sort of stuff in the Astral Traveler at the end of the Astral Traveler? That'd be cool to see, man.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, like either doing a compendium book with all the sketch stuff and concept stuff in it or including it in the book. Because I got so much like concept. I was doing so much concept stuff. I don't even know if a lot of it will make it in. You know how you do concept stuff and then so much you don't know if it'll make it in the story. Not all of it.
Well, and especially when you're building a world like Tezlon, that's huge, man. Like just to see all your maps, I'm like, oh snap!
I'm still working on them too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love to see your maps, man. I love a good old fashioned map. That's kind of like, it reminds me of playing D&D, growing up. I don't really make maps, but maybe I should. I don't know. I like that stuff a lot.
Yeah, I used to dungeon master for like 20 years. I used to play D&D all the time, and then my son grew up, joined the Air Force, and all him and his friends took off and left. So that's it.
But you got your other son.
Yeah, he's 5. He's 5. I'm surprised he hasn't ran in here yet.
Well, because he got age as my boy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my kids are going to bed right now, so.
Oh. Yeah.
Or else they'd probably be running in here. No joke. But yeah, how's that? Do you show your 5-year-old what you do, and does he take a look and see, tell you which ones he likes and which ones, like he does he draw with you at all? I mean,
no, he sits down and draws. He has like a high functioning like autism, so things are different for him. He's addicted to vacuum cleaners. We have like 10 vacuum cleaners.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's his thing. He doesn't play with a lot of toys, but he watches YouTube and watches vacuum cleaners and tornado sirens, things of that nature. He does draw, but it's more just kind of like scribbling and stuff at this point.
Yeah. Same with my boy. He's just like, well, he doesn't really like to draw all that much, but when he does, yeah, it's just kind of scribbling.
But when he sees pages and that stuff or concept, he's like, oh, that's cool, that type of stuff. My oldest, he draws too. He just hasn't drawn in a while.
Oh, cool. How old is he?
He's 28.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Have you ever thought about giving him some Tezlon stuff and be like, hey, dude?
He's done some Scarecrow concepts for me, weapons, and he was into the Dragon Ball Z manga, anime stuff. He reads a lot of manga, plays a lot of roleplay games, so that's the type of style he does. I got a lot of concept sketches from him that he submitted that I'll be using down the road, refurbishing them and using them.
Jeez, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's way cool. Speaking of the challenge, right? I think everybody likes to ask about like the tough days that you had on the challenge, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because I think you especially had a definite tough time through your challenge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, probably the toughest anybody could have, right? Is you're taking this challenge that forces you to do work every day, and then you run up to something it physically stops you from doing that. Did you talk about like what happened a little bit? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, you talking about when I had to go to the hospital?
yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, like I was in comatose for like 5 hours in the hospital. So they did every test. They took so much blood from me. They still couldn't find anything out. They still have to do a scope. I have to do a scope next month and see if it's anything, in my stomach or anything going on, like if it was an infection, because they said they think it was a virus, but it's pretty disappointing because I don't know. I was in the hospital for 2 days and it was a virus. That's the only thing we can come up with. Uh, they thought at first it was a tick bite. They sent out the testing for that. It came back negative, so I was good on that. But I'm like in the hospital. I'm telling my wife, I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to make my challenge. She's like, you're worried about the friggin' challenge? I was like, yeah. So I just had her do that posting, and then as soon as I got home, I started doing my challenge again. So
see, yeah, I wasn't on the Facebook group back then, so I just noticed that you stopped for a little bit,
right,
and
like
then
2 days
when you came on, yeah, which is crazy to me. You only took like 2 days off,
right.
and then you're back on. Like, I, that just tells me like how committed you are to this challenge, right?
Well, I didn't go crazy. I just did some concept stuff and light penciling. I didn't try to kill myself too much.
Yeah, but that's still work, man.
Right,
You had
right.
like I don't know. First of all, like, how do you feel since you've been back home? It's been a couple weeks, right?
Still got some issues going on. I went to the doctors and they don't can't something with the flap of the stomach or something like that. I had a sleeve done like 3 or 4 years ago, a gastric sleeve, because I was really overweight and I dropped down like 150 pounds or whatever. And so they were worried that was what was going on to the stomach issues. But that was like 4 years ago. That's why I had to go get a scope done, make sure there's nothing going on with my stomach.
I mean, so it sounds like, you definitely had a tough couple of days, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it sounds like almost like you decided right away that like you're going to continue the challenge.
Yeah, it was important. It was important to do.
Was there a time other than that, like where you had just a really tough day?
Oh, there's been a
And
few where I was depressed and I was just like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What am I doing? And then I'd get on and see one of your guys' videos and I'd be right back at it, man. I'd be good.
That's good, dude. That's good.
So,
but yeah, like those tough times. I've watched a bunch of other 100-day challengers back in the past, and you hear about the tough times, but it's especially tough when you're going through it.
Yeah. There's many different reasons that people sometimes stop. I don't know too many people yet that have so far in this one. I haven't, I've only kept up with like the few people that, are either on the Facebook page or do the videos. So.
Man, that's that's so awesome. That like, dude, you hit the hospital, and it sounds like that wasn't even your toughest day, at least for the challenge. You know what I mean?
No, there was one day I was really, really kind of down, I think. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. But then, I was good. I just started doing some sketches and I snapped out of it. I think that day was tougher than the hospital days.
Yeah. It's almost like I had the same. I've had a couple times where I was just like, man, I think I could stop today and I'd be okay. But like, one day, it was just 2 weeks ago or so, my wife got home and I crashed because I work nights, so I kind of get sleep where I can. And I set my alarm to wake back up at like 9 o'clock. And of course, I turned that alarm off right away. And my wife got into bed at like 11 o'clock. And I thought, maybe I'll just drop out of the challenge tonight.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But then I thought like, oh, what's the video that I'm going to have to make to say like, oh, you guys, I got really tired. I'm not to the challenge anymore.
Right.
You know, like, maybe, and then that's when I was like, oh, I'll get out of bed and do some work, I guess.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you and I are a lot of the like really similar. If I'm having a really tough day, it's almost like once I convince myself to sit down and work, it actually helps out my day so much more, you know?
Yeah.
Even if I'm just working 30 minutes or whatever, it actually, it starts making so much more sense to me. And to the point where I'm kind of confused why I didn't want to, you know, work that day or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Stuff like that happens. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But the good
But
thing is that you chose to get up and, and if you didn't, no fault. You know what I'm saying? It happens. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah.
But it's good that you did because, I think people kind of get inspired, when they see the other people's videos and it keeps you going. Like I still plan on doing videos after Astral Traveler, maybe not every day, but every couple days. I'm just going to keep it going. It won't be, won't have the 100 days challenge on there, but it'll be, I'll keep doing the updates until the book's finished.
That's good. That's one thing I was going to ask you, like, what are you going to do after the 100? Because I'm not confused, but I'm still trying to decide like what I'm going to do after the 100. Because I like how it keeps me coming back every single day. That might not be the best. That might not be the best way for some people to work, like just to work a little bit every single day.
Right.
But for my schedule right now, that's pretty much the only way I can work. You know,
the same with me. I work mid, so I work 11 to 7. My wife works midnights, so I only have like an hour or two, not even that, to work on stuff. So I know what you're going through. I know you have to use that time, and then you spend time with your kids and take them to the pool, do this. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely know what what you're talking about because what do you plan on? So what do you see your creation going? Like what do are you going to release it online? You think you're going to publish it?
I haven't really thought about it too much. Well, I thought about it a little bit, but I've tried not to look too far ahead, just because I wanna actually finish it. In my mind, I'm just gonna release it on like Webtoons or whatever.
Yeah.
And just to go from there. But I don't know when I'll be doing that. Part of me wants to get at least a good quarter of the way through it, or maybe even a half of the way through it before I start releasing it. But that's a ways. So after the 100, I'm gonna really focus and work on trying to finish 2 pages a week, and then that'll put me. I've written 95 pages worth of little adventures, so that'll put me a year away, which to me is kind of exciting. It sounds like a long time, but I'm ready to dig in.
It's cool.
I'm excited to do the actual work. It's so weird because like you're at the tail end of Astral Traveler with this 100 days, and I'm at the last stretch of the 100 days, but it feels like I've just barely started a little adventure, So it's almost like this 100 days is kind of like a beginning for me instead of an accomplishment, Right. But I think that's good.
It's good, yeah, it is. It's good. I think the 100 days, the whole goal of it is to keep you in a habit, like doing work at least once a day. Working at it, chipping away at it. I mean, I don't know when the Astral Traveler will be out, but kind of wanted to do kind of like similar what you're talking, like a web comic, release, a page or whatever, and then at the end of the series, and then probably get it printed or published or whatever. Trying to get a little bit of a fan following for it or whatever. You know what I mean? That's why I say I think yours would do really good as a web comic. I see a lot of people doing that type of style and strip, and they end up getting a fan following, and then they end up publishing a book. And I got to find that there's one guy that he did a book where a little kid goes to like this fantasy world or whatever. And I can't think of the name. It was a web comic first, and then he published like 2 books of it. Like he took all the web comic pages and then put it into a really nice soft cover book. And I found them I saw the strip online, but then I went to Barnes and Nobles and they were in like the young adult section, because they now have like graphic novels there now for indie type stuff. I'll find it tonight and then screenshot it and send it to you. But
that'd be cool. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. It like when I see your stuff, it kind of gives me that same flavor. You know what I mean? That same, like I could see yours being, in that same genre, that same on that level. So it was kind
of dope. I'm as far as, I mean, like every comic book every comic book artist would love to see like their stuff printed, right?
Yeah.
The more I kind of think about it, the more I really like mangas a lot. So like this format right here.
Right.
And so I would love to do this format for Little Adventure, since it's already I'm already drawing it at a smaller size. But it would just mean we're talking about probably 180 pages at least to get that thickness. So it'll be a ways away if I ever print anything. But it's a dream, dude. Oh, definitely a dream.
Yeah. But it's definitely fun though. I mean, so far, I've been having fun with it.
Yeah, dude. And I'm excited to pick up Astral Traveler whenever it comes out, You don't really mention, but like how many pages have you gotten done?
I don't know. I haven't counted. I haven't legitimately counted. I just take a piece of the script and then I pencil out or thumbnail a couple pages and then from there, you know what I mean? I know it's not going to be.
It's got to be a bunch, right?
It's probably going to be at least 100 at least.
Yeah.
So, like I said, even though I'm getting closer to the end of the book, it's kind of like I kind of jumped around. You know what I'm saying? When I was doing the pages, and then I still got to go back, and there's some gaps I got to fill with some stuff that happens, and places they go and interactions they have. So, I didn't do it like in order.
I didn't realize.
I did the first pages, I did the first 6 or 7 in order.
That's cool. Did you just like pick a scene that you felt like doing at the time?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was messing around and like, I don't want to do this boring scene where these guys are talking. So I'll have to go back and do all the interactions, the meat and potatoes of the story type stuff later on, where I traded off doing some of the fight scenes and some of the more, cooler scenes, I guess.
That's super interesting. That's a really good idea, actually, because we all hit like a point, whether we're doing any sort of art, where we're like, this part is kind of a drag.
Right.
So, like, you've picked a way, like, to guarantee yourself almost, like, I'm always gonna have something interesting to draw.
Right.
That is awesome, dude.
But then I have to go back and do those other pages, and I'm like, I hope I don't get bored when I have to go back and do those ones. So I have to figure a way to make them.
Hey, dude, what's up?
You should be sleeping.
No way.
Yeah, he just gets up.
My kids. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's gonna have to be going to bed soon. But my wife.
My kids. Like if we didn't put my boy down to bed, he would stay up all night. But he's the sort of kid that like has so much energy that like when you finally decide like, well, I guess when he decides it's time for bed, he just like is out cold and sleeps super hard. Like I could walk into his room and he'd still just be snoring. It's hilarious. But
he'll probably crash out on the couch in like 5 minutes, and I'll have to like, when I get off, I'll have to take him and carry him to bed.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm really excited for Astral Traveler, and I'm excited to see like you finish up the 100, man. Really
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, and I'm kind of excited about it too. I was trying to do some milestones, like when I would get to certain numbers, I would do some like you know I don't know what that's called when you not recollection, but just kind of the last 25 days or whatever.
Yeah, I tried to do like a
I tried to
recap
do
every
that, but
10 days.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like I tried, but I was just getting into
Well,
creative juices. So
back in those early days, I was like, oh, every 10 days I'll make a video that actually kind of looks okay, like has some editing and stuff. And then like every 10 days, I was like, dang, this is a lot of work. And as much as I'd like to do that, I don't know. I think it's better to like focus on the comics.
yeah,
Um,
I like how you guys do the videos. Like for whatever reason, my Filmora 9, the software I use for the video, like when I record like actual video of me, it crashes it. So then I
oh,
lose
really?
it. So I'm like, man, I'm not doing this again. Like I would do a video for like 20 minutes or whatever, and it would crash, and I wouldn't even be able to save it.
Oh,
So then
jeez,
I just do the voiceover on this stuff. Maybe
I
I'll
like
figure
your
it out next year.
I like your videos a lot, anyways. You know, it's good to see like all the work that you do. Um, like day by day. You've always got a new page that you're working on, and it's dope. I like seeing that a lot.
I try to get some up there. I was doing like when I first started. I think it was dropping like 2 pages, and I'm like, man, I gotta slow down. I'm gonna put all the stuff all at once and not having the show towards the end. So I had to back it up a
Yeah,
little.
yeah, man.
But yeah,
Uh, but dude, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with me
yeah,
today. Uh, if you ever need anything from me, hit me up. I'm
yeah,
serious. Like uh, whether it's just like you're hitting a tough day, like hey, we'll get on, we'll draw together or something like that.
yeah. Same to you, man.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. Uh, I'm trying to learn like at least with this little series that I'm doing like every week. I'm trying to learn the true meaning of the 100 day of making comics challenge.
Mm.
What do you think the true meaning of the challenge is? Like if you
For
dug
me,
down deep, if you dug down deep and you had to like just decide like, oh, this is the meaning of the challenge, what would it be?
oh man, there's so much, but I think the main thing is just to be constant with it. You know what I mean? Just to keep going forward with it. Not give up. I think that's the main thing. Like just to be creative and have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have fun with it, then what's the point? You know what I mean? Like I know it's work, but just be constant with it. Just move forward with it. Just flow with it. At least that's what I do.
100%. And
Yeah.
uh, like I found that like, I mean, I think about stuff way too much, right?
Mhm.
I'm just constantly churning up ideas in my brain.
Right.
But when I actually
Movies.
act, or like, trilogies more like
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
And then,
right. I know that how that goes.
but like when I actually act on those ideas and those thoughts, when I actually do something about it and take it to, you know, the physical realm that we live in, like that's when it starts making a lot more sense.
Right.
So yeah, like you keep moving, like you
Yeah.
said, dude. I think that's a great thought, dude. But yeah, I want to have you back on, especially after you finish your 100 days.
Yeah.
So, um, if not sooner, let me know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um, cool, dude. Hey, by the way, have you done your 30 minutes today? I
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if you did it. There it is.
Just gotta get on there and slap it up.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, thank you again, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the chat, man. It was good.
Yeah, definitely. You have like a lot of great experience, man. A lot of good insight. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Same to you, man.
But yeah, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, man. Take it easy, man.
Yeah, yeah. Have a good night. We'll see you.
Peace out.